Hello everyone, this is Mary Morning, and I'm here joining in on the Be the Witchy Change tag, or the Positive Pagan Challenge. And just a little bit of information on this tag. It was started by Random Witch, who saw a post on Facebook that wasn't all that positive, and she decided to do a video about it, and I'll put a link down below so you can go and watch that first video and get a sense of what the tag's all about. But I decided to join in only because I thought having a positive movement in the witchy community was a good thing. I myself have seen a few Facebook threads floating around that were pretty negative and sort of quickly devolved into name calling and sort of posturing and that sort of thing, and doesn't really resonate with me as far as what I've seen in the community before. So I just wanted to jump on the bandwagon of positivity is what I think. So I realized watching my introduction video that I really didn't talk about my path at all in that one. I talked more about sewing than I did witchy stuff. So I think I'll go back and reintroduce myself. So my name is Mary, and I go by Mary Morning online. I also have a sewing business called Autumn Moon Enchantment and tarot reading under Autumn Moon Enchantment. Let's see, I first came to the path, well, I started probably in high school reading books that I kind of found in the library. So I've always been drawn to dark and mysterious stuff, so I was that kid in the library looking for every book there was on anything occult or dark, mysterious, you name it, I was looking for it. Now, there wasn't a lot out there at that time, and the libraries even sort of watched what they put on the shelves. So it wasn't like I could just go find a book that sort of talked about positive things. It was usually the opposite. So there was a lot of misinformation in the 80s, which is when I was in high school. I graduated in 87. So what was out there was mostly sort of negative, derogatory terms as far as witchcraft goes. Let's see, the first positive book that I sort of read was The Spiral Dance by Starhawk. So I really enjoyed that and sort of pursued that, and several other books. I believe there was The Drawing Down the Moon, and there's another one by Doreen Valente, I think, that I read. But I didn't really get into doing any sort of spell work or anything like that until, like most kids of my age, the 90s came along and witchcraft was in the mainstream. So you had shows like Charmed, and you had, Willow on Buffy, and you had The Craft. And I remember distinctly going with friends to see The Craft, and we decided this was really cool. And we stopped by this, sort of occult store on the way home from the movie theater kind of thing, and picked up candles and, herbs and a spell book, and decided to try it out on our own. And, I had no idea what we were doing. But since there were 3 of us, I have to tell you that spell that I did really worked. It kind of backfired, as in, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. But that was my first sort of taste of it. And I've always done tarot. I started doing tarot in, I guess, on a regular basis, I'm going to say 89, 90, somewhere in there. And I would do my daily tarot. But as far as, going on a spiritual path, that didn't happen until fairly recently, so about 2010. is when I sort of, awakened, as they say, like everybody talks about awakening. Well, that's kind of what happened. Like things started falling apart and I started realizing there's patterns here. Why does this keep happening to me? And, the more I started studying, started getting into alchemy and, the esoteric sort of side of, the Kabbalah and that sort of thing, and started learning more about alchemy. And that's where I started going on the path of where I am now. I started taking some classes at a local store that taught Wicca, and that was, I guess, about 4 years ago now, maybe. And, learned sort of the basics, taking classes, started taking psychic development classes, which helped me realize, put a label on or name what I've been experiencing. Because I just knew what I was doing. I didn't know that you could call it a psychic ability. I didn't think I thought that everybody else could do that too. Like, why would I be any different? So, not that I'm special, but I think once you start experiencing, growth, you kind of grow into your abilities better and learn to understand it, what you're experiencing. Once you put a name to it, then you can understand it better and not just be reacting to what's happening, but actually go out there and make things happen. So that naturally led into, doing spell work and that sort of thing on a regular basis. But it was a long, slow path of growth, personal introspection, taking sort of psychology-based classes for the past year to sort of understand myself better and why I do some of the things I do and why my friends do things. And, I understand better now where people are coming from, where I'm coming from, and where other people are coming from. Which sort of brings it full circle back to Be the Witchy Change, because personally, now I know I'm a brand new YouTuber. I'm not new to, blogging and being on forums and that sort of stuff. So I've had my fair share of trolls and, comments, derogatory comments, and, people calling me names or whatever on a forum. I think you need to learn to sort of get a thick skin as far as that sort of stuff goes. And it's kind of like I imagine, people shooting arrows at me and they just kind of deflect. Because if you have a strong enough self-esteem, it's not going to bother you. Somebody could call me a fluffy bunny because I don't bind or I don't hex, and I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. That's sort of their issue. Like, that's something they have to figure out, why they're going out and calling people names. What is it in their childhood? What is in their ego that draws them to do that? Like, that exists on the internet on every subject. I used to write for a big website doing movie reviews, and that was part of it. Nobody is going to agree on what I have to say. There's always going to be somebody that has a different opinion, and sometimes it did include name calling. And what I've learned is that it's best to just ignore the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Don't answer it, don't feed into it. What's best is to be positive about it, which is what this tag is all about. Rallying the community to be the positive change. And ignore those that don't want to. That's sort of their path to fall into that sort of ego side of things. Like, if that's what they need to learn, then that's what they need to learn. So Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Like the internet teaches you a lot. Like you learn to grow quite a bit and be able to handle a lot of things that sort of come your way. Because in real life, people aren't going to come up to you and call you names. They're not going to say, you know, you're a fluffy bunny to your face. They're not going to say that. But on the internet, behind their screen with their keyboard, it's safe for them to do that. So they're somewhat safe. So they do that, and it's usually people that have sort of a low self-esteem. It's that old bully mentality that they kind of lash out to other people. So to sort of cover what they're lacking. So when I see stuff like that, I understand it. I see where it's coming from. You know, and maybe that's my empath ability, to be able to look through what they're actually saying to what they're feeling behind it and why they sort of do it. Now, I don't agree with letting people do it, you know, all the time. I totally abide to the delete and ban philosophy, because just because I understand where they're coming from and why they do what they do doesn't mean that I'm going to allow them to do it. So that's a boundary issue for me on this side, is that if I allow them to do it, then that's another lesson. And that seems to be sort of my life lesson, is boundary issues, because I am an empath. That it's always somebody trying to push a boundary with me. So yeah, I would take this to anybody that has had this happen to them out in doing blogs or doing YouTube channel, that if you have had a troll or somebody, you know, calling you names, you know, harassing you because of, let's say, because you're witch or because you're pagan, they're going to harass you. I would say take it as a life lesson and learn how to set those boundaries in and be okay with yourself as far as what to put up with and what not to put up with. So, in conclusion, I just want to say that I love that there have been so many people sort of mentioning brand new YouTubers and sharing their pages on the YouTube Pagan Facebook page. I liked seeing that. It makes me feel a little more welcome to sort of jump in. I haven't done much blogging on spiritual matters because it's very personal to me. I haven't really talked too much about my spiritual path to those people outside of my immediate circle. So those in my life, you know, they hear it all the time. I'm pretty much out of the broom closet for a long time now, and they would expect it from me. But those out in YouTube land or in the blogging world, I haven't done that yet. So I guess this is me sort of stepping outside my comfort zone and talking about more personal things online than I used to. So thank you to Random Witch for doing the Be the Witchy Change tag, and thank you to the other YouTubers that have been posting their videos. It's been very inspiring. Thanks. Bye.